Alrighty, let's get into this. We are live, so let me click out of that. And we'll kind of swing things off. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or we have to look something up, then we'll just take kind of a quick moment to do that until we can get the hang of everything. I imagine the first couple sessions will be a little learning the system and whatnot, but otherwise we should be good to go. So I've decided, let's see, Chex and Chris and I were in a call the other night, and we spent like 3 hours trying to figure out a cool name for this. So we've settled with Freeport, Hyperlanes, and Heretics. So Freeport Station has been built out of what used to be a massive asteroid. They've pretty much carved the hell out of it, tunneled down into it, and built this. It's not owned by any certain government agency. It's not. It has its own government there, but it isn't owned by something larger. No larger corporations or anything. But everybody sort of makes a home there. You can definitely find all the different government agencies and the medical agencies, Space Marines, all the different high-end corporations and stuff. They have a place there, but they don't run this place. It is ran by what used to be a space pirate. His name is Lord Drac, D-R-A-C. He's what you would expect out of a typical pirate. He does have a heavy-handed fist. He expects the people to follow the laws and do what they do, but at the same time, it is a space station that is set up for pirates. So it's definitely a rough area. There's a lot of unsavory things that happen there, and he kind of turns a blind eye towards most of it as long as it's not impacting the welfare of the space station itself. Once that gets involved, or he gets involved with other government agency or anything, he's quick to pretty much unite all of the pirates, the space fleets, and what he has, which is a massive amount, and he can pretty much wipe lay to whatever he needs to do. That hasn't happened in roughly 200 years, though. Everybody pretty much leaves the space station to do what they want to do. It's likely all of you have been there at least a few times. If you want to actually have more time there, whatever, that's completely up to you on your end, on your character side. Outside of that, Freeport has been, like I said, carved out of an asteroid, but it's shaped like a donut. The outside has been reinforced over the years with different metals and alloys and other such things. The main docking station is all the way on the outer rim of this, per se, donut. And so when you enter, you go inside of this donut-shaped space station. They have what's called a waylaid gravity system. And what it does is it creates a gravity on the outer, or basically on the outer surface, but because the space station is inside this donut shape, whenever you're walking, everywhere around you in the complete inside of this donut is cities and streets. So if you walk straight, you'd eventually walk all the way upside down and around. So when you're sitting, in the bottom or wherever you're at, and you look up, you can see buildings and people up above you walking on the ceiling and so forth. So it's basically built on the inside of a donut with the gravity pulling you to the outer walls. The outside is pretty much, it's sigil in space, exactly. It's there's no major planets or anything close by here, but it is within an asteroid field. So there's a lot of different things going around outside. As I said, there's no major government that runs this, but there are a lot of mining facilities, a lot of corporations that use it. Pirating is a major aspect to this and to the outside, but within 100 miles of, or I guess they call it space ticks, of Freeport, there is no pirating. It's completely against the law, and otherwise it's considered as an attack on another pirate, which leads into whole other sorts of issues. Outside of that 100-mile radius, you are free to do whatever the hell you want until you enter another government zone or an alien area or whatever the case might be. There's a lot of weird creatures in space, and what they call is, they call it the river, but it's sort of, best way to describe it is sort of when you're looking out across space and they look at it as a 2D dimension. Sigil, I'm going to say sigil. Freeport is sort of stuck in the middle, and out and around it being this asteroid field, there's what's above area and there's a below area. You can drop down from where you are in Freeport above this asteroid field or below it, and there's definitely some rocks in between a little bit, but each section is sort of considered above the river or below the river. It's just an easier way for them to sort of differentiate the areas above the asteroid field and below it. Below it is known to be a lot of odd creatures and what they call horrors, rippers, There's void markers, there's marls, all sorts of other weird creatures and aliens that really don't come up above the asteroid river. So people tend to stay above that sort of 2D line. Below that, you're on your own to risk your life in any sort of way that you want. Um, Movement between all of these different astral um, planets and asteroids and things like that can be done through your ships. There's your basic hyperdrive, which can get you, it moves about 100 light years per, or 100 light years at a time for the speed. But when then you have then that expansive space, it's really not that fast. But they have other things called ghost lanes. And it sort of looks like when you enter a hyperdrive sort of idea, but it looks like a tunnel completely devoid of all color. And even when your ship enters that, whatever, everybody becomes colorblind. And it looks basically like you're just racing down a tube while you're in this thing. There's all sorts of weird horrors and creatures and things that live in these ghost lanes, but it's the quickest way to pass from point A to B if you need to do so. There's a whole bunch of different risks. Every ship is equipped with a ghost lane drive, so it will be there. But it's something people try to avoid, and it's very unsettling. A lot of times they'll go into stasis mode so they don't have to witness the horrors that are within these ghost lanes and stuff. When you enter one of these ghost lines or ghost lanes, you leave what's called a dragon tail behind. It's sort of a wisp of smoke that lasts for roughly 20-25 minutes. If people see that, they can figure out what your coordinations are and follow you. So pirates use this a lot to wait for cargo ships and stuff to enter these ghost lanes. They go into stasis, the people do, and then they'll raid the ships. With that, you can also try to hide your dragon's tail, or you can try to follow others or other such things. When you're inside of these ghost lanes, they figure it's about roughly a 100-mile radius, which isn't really that big when you're moving at that sort of speed. But if you touch any of the outer walls of this tunnel, your ship is dead. You're done. It basically looks like an electrical field charge. Nobody knows what's really on the other side or what it is. They figure the theory is that you're actually entering an entirely another dimension that you're traveling through. Outside of that, I don't think there's too much of the setting lore that we'll get into, and you kind of learn things as we go, and I'll introduce things either through character and through the roleplay and other such stuff that touches upon most of the stuff you would kind of need to get moving in the game. I'm just going to run across the bottom of my screen here. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, your characters. Feel free to plug any channels that you want to do because you're all famous and whatever you want to say. So, Chex, for some reason, you are always the first one on my left on my screen, so you can go first.
Always an honor. Soren Teach Kova is the computer genius type of guy. He often gets him into trouble because he ends up in places he shouldn't be. He kind of looks like Carrie Ailes. I think that's how you pronounce it. From Robin Hood, Men in Tights, yeah. But the nerdy version of him. He's a bit socially awkward, but other than that, he doesn't fit any other stereotypes.
I love Carrie Ells. It's one of my favorite actors. All right. Chris, do you want to go next?
That is me. What up, guys? My channel is the RP Ginger. I run a lot of 5th edition D&D right now. So if that's kind of the stuff that you would like to check out, then go ahead and check me out for sure. I am playing Jade Cullen, the medical technician of the group. I chose to be the healer because that's something I don't normally do or ever have done. So I'm testing my boundaries, not only with an unfamiliar sci-fi kind of setting, but also playing a healer. So that'll be interesting. And I think that's it. I'm the only one that doesn't really have a cool nickname. I'm just Jade.
Just Jade. Maybe that is your nickname. You just spell it without the Y.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, perfect. Christian, do you mind going next?
Yeah, I am playing Corin Resher. He's a mercenary character. Spend a lot of time just bouncing around here and there and ended up just trying to find just a bit of money to get stuff done, and end up with the group after a job gone wrong, so we're sticking out with them for now.
All right. Yeah, sure. Perfect. And Joseph, you want to go for it?
How's it going, everybody? I'm Joe. Pardon me. 1 foot wall, very tiny little channel. Not a lot going on, but tonight, anyway, in this sci-fi setting, I'm playing our resident gear jammer, which is basically the Mr. Fix-It, whether or not you have the right parts for the job or not. So, character I'm playing is called nicknamed Socket, because he's also named Thade, and the Thade Jade is a little funky. But he's basically a born on the streets, kind of orphaned, complete total junker. Not really any proper schooling, but he didn't really need it. He kind of had a natural aptitude for junk and making things work, and built his own junky little ship at like 16 to blast off the rock he was stuck on. And now he's lucky enough to be part of this crew, keeping that old bird flying by any means necessary. Tape, whiteout, you name it. We got it.
Nice. All right. So all of you are part of this crew, sort of. I just said, let's see, let's learn names here. Socket, you started with a man named Jibs, a pilot. The two of you basically started out with what Jibs had was a little bit of a roadster sort of space vehicle, running messages and things like that. Brought you on to help fix his piece of crap ship, keep it together long enough before he could upgrade to something bigger, which is eventually a C-class. It's called a Descartes. And they're sort of a pretty fast, maneuverable sort of ship that they primarily used for light cargo, messages between space, transportation for private individuals and things like that. They fit about 8 on the crew, and they have a cargo area that runs about 250 tons of material around. Over this time, you guys eventually met Christian's character. Let's see. What's their names? Resher. So I think you mentioned in our Facebook chat there how you met him. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so it's me and Jibs. See, we was coming down with just a quick, fast job. Supposed to be just like easy money. In, out, done. But we gets in there, and man, there's some cats in there doing some other kind of jiving shit. They was trying to get the jump on one of their own guys. Total double cross. We could smell a double cross. So anyways, like, we love the underdog, so we jumped in on his side, and we started popping some shots at them other scrugs. Next thing you know, we got us a good tight homie, and now he's helping us out on our ship because we don't want to get no double cross, and we pay equal and fair.
Beautiful. From there, you guys brought Rusher on board. Ran some messages for a while, did some jobs. Seemed to be a good person to have on hand, good with the weapons. Bit intimidating, mercenary for hire at one point. Let's see. Then from there, you guys met Teach. How did that go? Maybe nobody remembers.
We met at a bar, didn't we? I seem to remember that.
Sure, that makes work.
A nano blade through somebody's hand. Those are the details that are sticking out to me.
That was some crazy shit that time. Must have been some cross signals. Somebody got their coil all fired up. Whew. We walked out.
All right. So you guys maybe met up with old Teach. I'm actually going to say it was in a little bar called Z81 here on Freeport, because Teach tends to run Freeport, apparently, doing a lot of his little hacking jobs and stuff there. Why don't you tell us about that, Teach? What do you do good at here in Freeport?
Well, there's a lot of small jobs needing done in Freeport. Sometimes it's just finding out what cargo is on a particular ship that's just about to leave. What happens to that ship once they leave, I have no knowledge of, and I don't want to. sometimes it's just taking information from one end of the Freeport to the other. Sometimes you don't want to send that information through the, I don't know, what cyberspace, as it were.
Very true. So from there, apparently you guys needed a bit of jobs. The computer systems and stuff here on your ship really wasn't all that quality. Things that are a little bit out of the technicality and the skills of Thade. So I brought aboard Teach. He's been running most of the computer aspects. He was able to upgrade other cores of the system, put in the new AI, and basically get your ship running at least as top of the line as it could be. From there, again, you guys were running odd jobs, making money, doing what you could do, until a recent job came up. You guys were set off to a small mining asteroid named Nostradamus. There's known to be a massive ripper hive within the core of this thing. Rippers are sort of like hive-minded reptilian murder machines, pretty much. And from what you could understand when you're going to this Nostradamus, this asteroid, you were meant to drop off a couple packages you had in your cargo, no questions asked, and pick up a man by the name of Jensen. It was highly recommended that you have a medical personnel on board, both to deal with any of the rippers or anybody getting hurt, and due to Jensen actually having several disabilities and physical abnormalities that sort of needed medical attention between Nostradamus, the asteroid, and back to Freeport. And thus, he decided to look for the cheapest, most quickest medical personnel you could find, and that happened to be Jade. Why don't you tell us about your introduction with the crew, Jade?
Absolutely. So Jade, conveniently enough, is actually another person met in a dive bar, and the rest of your memory of a nanoblade comes from the spicy personality that is Jade. You heard that finding a pirate medic is never an easy thing to come by, because usually medics are someone who went to like school or not, or learned it, and if they haven't went to school, it's maybe not the best medic you could find. So you're in a dive bar, and some patrons told you that there was this medic, actually a pirate medic, to hire. And as you look in the corner of the bar, you see Jade with her long kind of red hair and a resting bitch face to outdo any resting bitch face that you ever seen. But unbeknownst to you, you guys approached her. The two patrons telling you to go tell this pirate medic to join your crew kind of sit back and snicker, because they have heard stories about this woman. They've heard that she has a very violent past, and she's borderline psychotic, and apparently has killed her governmental position crew in a past expedition, and basically lost her mind and allegedly just killed her whole crew. So they kind of watch you guys approach in expectance to see some kind of scene go down. And when you walk up to Jade and just, hey, you want to join my crew? I heard you're a good medic. To their surprise, she just says yes. A bit upset, these patrons actually kind of step up and they blurt out that you don't want to be in a crew with that crazy bitch. She killed her whole crew in her last expedition. To which point, without hesitation, you see this blue glowing blade pull out from the side of a sheath on my character's hip and stab it into the patron's hand. He yells out in pain, and then I ask, is there any other advice you would like to give these fellows? The man just kind of yells in pain as the blade is just literally cauterizing while cutting into him at the same time, just this glowing hot nano blade. I pull the blade out as he obviously doesn't say anything, and look down and tell him, that's a bad looking cut. You should get a medic to look after it. And then just kind of storm out with you guys.
Nice. And thus you all met Jade and her resting bitch face. You headed out for this job to pick up this one Jensen upon the Nostradamus asteroid. On your way there, the ship was attacked. You never got a chance to see who or what it was before the whole front end of the Descartes was just completely ripped apart. Fortunately, most of you were in the back cargo area, maybe playing some cards or dice or doing whatever you do. Unfortunately, Jibbs was the only one up front piloting the ship at the time. He tends to often frown upon the whole idea of autopilot and like to control it himself just to have a sense of comfort. You're not sure what it is that attacked. The last thing you saw was what looked to be basically a C-class ship about the size of yours. It was shaped like the point of an arrow, but it was completely black and obscured by sort of this greenish, yellowish, sickly-looking aura or fog that it seemed to leave a trail behind, almost like a drifting particles of sulfur through this black space. All of you dropped your SOS signals. Nobody was majorly hurt, whatever the case would be. It seems like their attack was meant almost specifically for Jibbs. They didn't hit any of the back areas of the ship, didn't damage any of the reactors, whatever the case might be. But without the entire console and the front end of the ship to move this thing, you were dead in space. So, Teach, you dropped the SOS signal the best you could, and you guys waited roughly 3 days before a cruiser ship came through to be able to get to you. From there, it's a large cargo. It wasn't anything government agency. Looked to be just other runners such as yourselves. And they pulled you back in to Freeport. And that is where you currently sit. Socket, after a quick run through of the ship and kind of get an idea of what it is, you can fix up some of the basic stuff and get it, the core of the ship back online. Problem is you don't have the resources or materials between yourself and Teach to completely rebuild the front end of the ship and the computer systems, the piloting systems, all that stuff. From what you understand, you're looking at about 40 units or 40,000 credits to be able to get this thing back up and running, which on a 500,000 credit ship really isn't that bad, but it's more money than all of you have at the moment. And thus, you're basically sitting in Freeport Space Station trying to consider your next best options. So with that, I'll kind of toss it over to you guys and let you decide what your options might be or what you would like to do.
Ooh, this ship here be toast. Now, she ain't quite fried. We can get her back. But, god damn. I ain't got no scratch for this. We're going to have to find some local work, folks.
I'd kind of be looking at the damage to the ship in a bit of annoyance, obviously, tapping my foot. I would approach Resher, and I'd say, listen, I didn't sign up for a repair mission here. I need money, and I need it quick. What's the next job going to be?
Well, we could always find somebody to shoot. There's usually somebody willing to pay to have somebody else shot.
I got somebody to shoot. How about them scabs that came roasting in and took Jibbs out? That don't go like unanswered. So we need to get back up in the sky. That's what we need to do.
Do you happen to have 40K of credits kicking around in your pocket?
Oh, let me see. Right here in this tool belt, I got one of these. Let's go to work.
That's what I thought.
Anybody got some kind of signals? I ain't good at talking to them big folk.
So as you're sitting there, Teach, listening to all these other fellows yammer on with one another, you'll notice that your comms unit is just going completely haywire. Look at this thing. You can see folders opening, contacts being scrolled through. None of this doing yourself. It's quick and easy to recognize somebody has gotten into your comms unit. It seems to be most likely somewhere within the city. Probably have to be within a good 600-700 yard radius. But you definitely notice somebody's hacking into your comms.
Yeah, there's a broad grin that comes across his face as soon as he realizes this. He enjoys a challenge, so he wants to see if this person is up to it. He's going to. So I'm just trying to remember all this hacking lingo that goes with this game. Yeah,
you can make up your own too, because honestly, I'm not sure there's definitely a little bit, but
Yeah, I've just been making shit up the whole time.
Yeah, but I know he's certain things. He's got a diagnostic screen that he can plug in to his PCA that's being hacked, and he'll just bring out the mini keyboard and start going to work.
So as you're going through this, are you trying to stop them, or trying to locate them, or trying to do something else?
First of all, yeah, I will trace them because I'd like to see if it's someone from the say the hacker community.
All right, so that's going to be a contested. So it'll take roughly 2 or 3 minutes before you're able to really go through. But to give me computers, and let's see, what does that go with? It goes with, well, it's up to you technically. You could go with cool, or you could go with gut feeling.
I'll go with gut feeling if I have the option.
Yep. So basically, whatever your computer's ticks is, plus your gut feeling ticks, that gives you the number of dice. Roll all those and count out the number of 7s or 8s.
One 7.
Start clicking through. You can see whoever's on the other end of this is going through your comms unit. Seems to be fairly skilled as well, not quite prepared for what you were getting into. There's somebody who has probably not as good as you are, but they seem to be keeping up with you just fine. You can see they start to scroll through your contacts, and before you're able to completely stop them from getting into this, they bring up the name D. You definitely know her as another person here on Freeport. Opens up her files and quickly does a quick copy of this thing. As you start to trace this back, you're able to find it's coming from sort of off to the west. You get an idea it's about 300-400 yards off to the west. Most of the area in that is pretty run-down slums, a lot of dive bars. Pretty shady area for the most part if you were to head in that direction. But definitely the type of place Teach would be familiar with.
I mean, Teacher is a coward, but he does have backup. Guys.
Yeah, what's that?
I've just been hacked.
Isn't that what you're supposed to be the one that does that?
Yeah, pretty insulting, isn't it?
Now,
Anyway,
What are they after?
they were going through my contacts, which I don't like.
so
That
they're
means
just trying to
they're
talk.
actors.
They're just trying to talk some other computers through your computer. I didn't even think that's a problem. It's all just numbers, man. Unless you're saying it's a problem.
It could be a problem. Could be.
Were they looking for anyone in particular?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say an acquaintance of mine. Rival acquaintance. A person I know who does the same kind of things I do.
Be a person with money?
I think she just did a big job, but it could be money if we let her know. Watch her back, make some scratch.
Well, it's better than standing here looking at this junk-ass ship and dreaming about getting it fixed.
No, you watch your mouth now. She's a good girl right here. She'd be pretty flying. And Socket turns over to the ship and kind of just pats the side of the metal. Don't worry. She don't mean nothing by it. She just ain't got no.
I bet just falls off.
Like I say, one of the lights on the side just falls off.
Oh, y'all done hurt her feelings now. You guys to apologize, Doc.
Apologize to his ship. Dream on.
So take a look at your...
What's this?
Go ahead.
So what's this about this this acquaintance?
So you look down at your comms, Teach. You can see it seemed to stall for a moment. You're holding back out. But once again, you start to see your contacts start scrolling through. It clicks off of that, and it opens up a couple more folders on your comms. This time, looking into your bank account and any information about yourself, your aliases, anything that you can keep. Basically, all your private information on this phone. What do you do?
Oh shit! I will attempt to. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and kick it out at this point.
All right. Going to use brains plus computer in this case against theirs.
Hey, did you try to turn it off and turn it back on? Maybe just yell at it?
As he does that, I'm going to draw onto my guns and ready it to shoot whatever I need to and shut it down if we have to. Quick end to it.
One success.
One. You start clicking through. Whatever or whoever is into this thing moves way faster than you're able to go. Quickly, you can see it copies across your screen, copies your name, your alias, your bank account, and any other private information you have sitting in your comms unit. It gets a good 3/4 of it before you're able to put a halt to this. And on your screen, it completely goes black for a moment. And you see this grinning skull staring back at you, laughing in that sort of robotic, computerized sort of laughter for a moment. And then your comms goes black again to each. You were able to at least stop them from getting everything, but they definitely got a good chunk of your information.
Is the unit completely destroyed, as it were, or is it?
Give it a quick look over. Reese just got turned back on. But yeah, you give it a quick look over. It looks like it's they basically just reset this thing, so you can definitely turn it back on. It looks like you're probably going to lose a fair amount of your information on there, which you might be able to get back, in your own ways or through backups. But it pretty much just kind of wiped whatever trace they might have left behind.
Sure. Well, the first thing he'd be doing is his bank account details to see have they taken what little money he has.
Nope, looks like it has not been touched. It doesn't even look like it's been accessed since whenever you last accessed it.
Okay, change password.
Just kind of staring at you like in expectance, like, how's it going?
Not well. I did get a trace that direction somewhere.
That helps. This city is round. You could go that direction and come right back here. Could you narrow that down just a little bit?
That skull, is that anything you recognize?
That's a good question, Morgan.
How about a know-how with brains?
Know-how.
Would that be something that a few of us would have a chance of knowing, or just teach?
If you can justify how you might know something about hacking, then you might know it. But it doesn't come across as like a government signia or anything of that sort.
Gotcha.
One success again.
Success. So you have seen it before. Definitely in the hacking circles. It's known that a lot of people tend to have aliases or calling cards or, leave little things like that to things that they've done sort of as a bragging right. You've definitely seen this before. It's been linked to a man named Dragon, but exactly who he is or what or who he works for, anything like that, you're not sure. But you've probably seen it here and there a few times. A pretty skilled hacker, one of the more well-known, intimidating ones.
I'm going to think deeply on this information for a moment and then ask, do we have any kind of a skill like that? Because I kind of like it. And if we don't, we need to see about getting one soon.
Leave it up to you guys.
So are we just going to stand here all day, or are we going to go get to the bottom of this?
I'm following
Well,
you guys. Like, we need
Well, if
money
you
to
can't-
fix this.
I'll
Sorry,
tag
Joseph.
along, but I'll be somewhat lost in thought as I try and dream up a logo for us to use.
Teach, can you track this acquaintance of yours? If they're hacking them, maybe they're looking for them.
I think I know where she might be.
Let's get there and at least warn her.
So, as you try and think where you might find either D or kind of get anywhere to justify this, all of you are moving down these streets. Nothing really here is numbered. None of the streets are really named outside of a couple main ones. But otherwise, you can see the area gets seedier and seedier, a little less clean, a lot lower, a lot more grungy, more unsavory folks as you enter what's more of the piratey kind of people that you really don't want to associate too much with. But Teach, you lead them down, sort of following the best you can the trail that was left behind. There's a large number of different taverns and places around through here. Rescue, you're the first one to notice as Teach is too busy looking down at his comms unit. Off to your right, down through this back alley, you see three men standing there, kind of two on one side of the alley, one on the other, have a couple cigarettes in their mouths. They look to be basically just sort of watching the area. But what you notice more quickly is two more men sort of in the alley, and it looks like they're shaking somebody down, roughing them up a little bit. You can hear the whimpers, soft cry of a woman's voice as this man in the alley comes back and gives her a quick backhand, says something in a language you're not quite familiar with, you don't quite recognize. Sounds maybe Russian or something of the Western European nations. What do you do?
Oh, guys, I don't think I could just stand here and watch some scrum like that just going down. That's a lady, man. That's a lady. And I guess Socket will start walking over. Hey, man, hey, what you got?
Yeah, I'll follow close behind him on my hand on my stove needed. And I guess he's already calling out to them, making attention. I'll just follow along and kind of see what happens.
Right, yeah, that's what I was going to point out. Like, not in a threatening, I'm going to fight you way, like in a get your attention way. Yeah, Socket's not the run forward and punch things. But figure, like, if I could get their attention, maybe they will stop.
Well, whatever's happening exactly in the alley seems to continue on forward, but the three men standing up the front sort of shift their weight a little bit. They sidestep over, kind of blocking your way, kind of both of entering and seeing really what's going on. The middle one, a little bit taller, a bit more jacked than the other two. One side of his head is completely shaved down. You can see all these little nano wires running across. He steps forward a little bit. His eyes glare back towards you, Sokka, for a moment. None of this business concerns you. Won't you just move along?
Yeah, but see, we trying to move that way, and y'all beating a girl right in that way, and we trying to go, like, we get some spin? Like, what are you doing?
See, pulls out his hand, sort of flicks this cigarette, smacks you in the chest, the sparks and things kind of flapping around. He says, it's none of your business. Won't you move along before I have to gut you?
You'll feel a hand on your shoulder, Socket. Disapproving eyes of Jade looking at you. You heard the man. This isn't our business. We got other things to take care of.
This guy's eyes will sort of look past you for a moment, second. Eyes up Thresher for a moment. And then settles on Jade. Oh, he says, another wench. Sort of look over shoulder in the other way. He's like, hey, Cleveland. Looks like we got another one. Two guys on either side of this large one sort of start to flank around the side. One towards you, Russia, on the side. The other one sort of where Socket and Jade are.
You need to back on up just a little bit. That's our wench. And then he kind of tucks his hands a bit, kind of fearing a little smack to the back of the head. A familiar smack from Jade. Our doctor, y'all none of your business, move along.
Listen.
And takes a step back.
That's your first and only strike for both of yous. Let's get out of here before any unneeded trouble gets into our way.
As you staring down at your comms unit, Teach, you can hear this girl in the alley say something. It's hard to pick up, but it kind of catches your ear. That voice, it sounds a little bit familiar. And as you look over your shoulder, you can see this whole little thing starting to go on a little bit. And then you hear the girl again speaking. She says, she's not here. She's not here. And you recognize that voice. It's not Dee, who you might have been thinking initially, but it's her mom. Her name is Janice. You've met her quite a bit. Pretty nice lady, probably stayed at her house a few times. Works basically just as a serving lady here. It's actually the dive bar. It's called the Z81. Nice lady otherwise, but it seems like they're shaking her down for information or something. As you sort of look into the alley and stuff, one of these neon lights up in the corner flickers a little bit. You can definitely see her. Fairly tall, skinny, dark, black hair. Older woman, probably in her 50s or so. Fairly well built and sturdy, though. Age hasn't really caught up to her yet. One side of her face is bloodied up pretty bad.
Yeah, Teach is probably about 15 foot away from everybody else. He still had his head down and his PCA. And as he hears this, he looks up and looks around. He hasn't even realised that the others are over there already. Because he kind of turns around to tell them that he recognises the voice. And oh, shit. Guys.
I'll be walking away, like, in your direction, trying to just, like, not deal with this shit before I get too pissed off. And I'll just look at you as you say that. And what now? You want to cause trouble with these guys, too?
Give me a quickness roll, Jade. So it'll be whatever your quickness pips are times 2. But it's going to be at -1, so take 1 die out of that.
These motherfuckers are going to swing at me? Okay, so I have a quickness of 3. So that's 6 minus 2?
-1, so 5.
-1, 5. All right. Bring it. Oh, no. 7 and 8s are successes?
Yes.
I rolled no 7 or 8s and 1 1.
So you botch. Which, in this case, doesn't really matter because I got 1 success. You feel this hard grip sort of right on the back of your collar, Jade, and then you suddenly ripped back, kind of caught on unawares as you were planning to move towards Teach. You could feel your comms unit, or whatever you might have had in your hand, smashed to the ground. The bits and pieces of the screen cracks apart, and then you're just ripped back. Whoever has a hold of you, you're able to turn just a little bit to see it's one of these junkies or whoever they are. But he quickly comes around, wrapping one arm around your neck, the other one sort of around your front of your stomach, torso area, and starts to pull you back towards this alley. And he says, I got her, let's go. You're going to start pulling her away.
You just hear me calmly say, I told you only had 1. You're going to pay for this, motherfucker.
Can we see if they're armed at all? Is that visibly apparent?
Yes, it is. They all look like they have fairly basic pistols, nothing super fancy, but definitely have bullets and definitely would hurt, and they all have blades. The guy who is standing in front of Socket has his blade out. The one standing to your left, Resher, has a blade out as well. The guy taking Jade is just holding on to her, so he doesn't have any weapons out, but he's definitely armed.
I'm a nanoblade this son of a bitch the second I can, but obviously everyone else probably gets to do something first.
All right, let's try the initiative then and see how we can run this. So let me get my ticket. Teach, you would be up first to say what you're going to do.
Muted.
Yep. Yeah, you're muted, man. Maybe, unless he dropped.
Nope, sorry. Hangouts has been funny and wasn't giving me the little toolbox at the top.
Mine does that all the time.
Yeah, I guess Teach is going to. I mean, he is a coward, but he's probably been in situations like this before. You don't survive in Freeport without some form of self-defense. So I think as he sees Jade being pulled back, he'll automatically reach for his pistol. And that's a free action in this, I believe.
Equipping is actually an action unless you want to shoot as well, in which case you can equip your weapon and shoot, but it's at -2 dice.
In that case, I'll just equip my weapon.
All right. So you're going to equip it. Socket, you would be up next.
All right. Kind of with the guy standing right in front of him with a knife or with a blade out. Kind of more in a defensive style. He's going to yank out the large spanner that's hanging on his belt and just kind of bat the weapon away or try and bat the knife away. So I guess that's ready to end kind of an attack. Yep. Not so much an intent to do damage, but it definitely, I guess, would count as a swing.
Yep, it'll be considered basically a close combat. You don't get a -2 close combat between equipping and attacking. So that's Jade. Okay.
I am definitely, I'm not sure how grappled works in this game, but I'm reaching for my nano blade and going to show this guy real close and personal showing of it.
All right. So you're not going to try to break the grapple. You're just going to attack him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, it doesn't have any effect on what you're doing there. And Rusher, what do you do? You're muted at the moment, too.
Oh, sorry. How close am I to Jade and the guy pulling her away?
Probably like 5 feet, so within just a step or two.
Okay.
And then you got a guy to your left, but he doesn't have his weapon. Or yeah, he has his weapon out too. But again, they're both about equal distance. You're kind of in the middle between them.
Okay. I'm gonna, for now, draw I have a stun baton. I'm gonna draw that and go for the guy on my left.
Right. And
but not full of Jade.
Gotcha. Alrighty. So then to run through initiative, Rusher, you are up first. So you can make your close combat. You can use either brawn or quickness, whichever one works for you.
We'll go with brawn. And then do you say a -2 to draw the weapon and attack in the turn?
Not with a melee weapon in this case, only when you're shooting a gun. But it's going to be against his defense, which is 1, so you're going to take 1 die out of that dice pool and then roll the rest.
That's going to be 5 total.
And then count up the number of successes you get, which are 7s and 8s.
And that is no successes.
No successes. Swing on this thing. He's able to step back just a step. You can watch it brush across the front of his chest, and he smiles a little bit. Jade, you are up.
All right. As I'm kind of like just squirming, finally get my hand on the nano blade, you hear it kind of zing on as the energy starts to pulse. Little neon blue aura fills the alleyway, and what do I got to do to swing?
So you're going to be doing close combat. So the number of pips there, you can use brawn or quickness, whichever one you prefer. The total number, his defense is 1. So take 1 die out of that total and roll them, and then just count up the number of successes.
I'm not built for this, so my understanding is that I have 0 pips in close combat and 3 quickness, -1, 2 dice.
Yes, correct.
Oh boy. Let's see what happens. It's not happening, and I'm pretty sure that counts as a botch because I rolled a 1 again.
With no success. So yeah, you take this blade out, kind of go to jam it behind you, whatever the case, but you feel his hand grab a hold of your wrist and quickly just yanks it right up behind your back. They are up. So let me get my dice roller. You see the one that you're right beside you, Resher. He's going to sort of step in just as your baton swings across the front of him. You can see this blade kind of twirling his hand, and he brings it up just to come down, sort of aiming for your collarbone area. Let's see. Your defense is 2, so he's got only 2 dice. 0 successes. So yeah, bears it down. It kind of cuts maybe into a little bit of a flak jacket or something, but completely misses you as well. He seems to enjoy this a little bit. You see this grin sort of cross on his face a little bit wider as he keeps stepping in closer, trying to put you on the defensive. Let's see. The one on you, Socket. He has his blade out as well, so he's going to do the same thing and come at you. And your defense is 3. Ooh. I get a success anyway, so he steps forward before you're able to knock this blade out of his hand. It comes across, sort of right across your chest. It's going to be, with the blade, 2 damage. It'll be absorbed by your armor. I think you had 5 for your armor, but it comes out of your durability, so it'll drop down to whatever, -2. And then the one on you, Jade, grabs a hold of you a little bit tighter. You can see his other hand wraps around your neck, and he puts his hand there and starts to squeeze right down on your throat. You can feel your breath coming a little bit sharper as he just continues to yank the back of your arm up. And he's just going to make a regular melee attack since he doesn't have a weapon. And you're grappled. He does not. So yeah, he just holds you. You're considered impaired at the moment, though, so you're going to have a -1 cumulative for whatever you do on top of anything else on your dice rolls at the moment, since he has you in the grapple, basically. And Socket, you are up.
Yeah, so I guess still that would be that swinging out with the deal, or with the spanner wrench.
Yep.
All right, yeah. All right, so definitely I'm going to go quickness. I have a good quickness.
Right.
One close combat.
Going for his blade and not him, right?
Yeah, just swinging at the blade to try and knock that free.
All right.
I think there's a modifier. Would that count as like hand or foot?
Yeah.
Modifier?
Hand.
Okay, so that's -4 dice.
Yes. Yep.
Oh boy. All right. I have 1 left to roll. 4 quickness and 1 close combat. 6. Nope.
Nose. It just brushes his hand a little bit before he steps back. You can see he takes a couple steps back this time, sort of reaching behind him like he's going to get something out. Teach, you are up. As you watch these guys, the one starts to drag Jade back into the alley. The other two seem to slowly be trying to close off Resher and Socket, trying to separate them, basically.
Are they technically in melee with them?
If you want to be. I mean, you were far enough back that you could.
Oh, no, not me. Oh. Not me. I'm a coward. I'm asking if my friends. Because ideally I'd like to just shoot them in the back.
Yeah, you could do that. I want to say that you're firing into a brawl, so you're going to have a -D, so 2D, so -2 dice for the attack.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Actually, if depending on who you shoot, it's probably going to be -3 because it's -2 base and then a -1 for each target that you're not trying to hit, which would be whoever one of them that you're not trying to hit.
So -3.
Yep. Which one are you going for?
Okay. None of them, because that would leave me with 0 dice pool.
Well, you always have 1 minimum.
1 minimum. Okay.
So there's a 25% chance you might get it, or you could totally botch it.
Come on, man. Don't say that. 7.
Yeah, so that's a hit. What's the damage on your gun?
Base is 4.
Oh, damn. You're just going to completely take this guy out. Go ahead and describe it. Which one is it on first?
You tell me.
I will say it's the one on Resher.
Okay. It's just a lucky shot. He just the knees are knocking together. With the shaking and shivering that he's doing, he accidentally inadvertently pulls the hair trigger on this gun, and it takes the guy in the back.
Yes. You hear this pew sort of sound with his gun there rushing. You see the guy's lower half of his jaw, part of his neck, just get completely blown away by this flash. What kind of gun do you have? Teach.
A Gic SOP. GIC SOP.
Do
It's
you know
a
if it's
light pistol. It's
probably bullets, then I would assume.
yes.
So yeah, you just see this whole thing explode off to the side rusher. These guys don't have any kind of armor on or anything like that, just basic street clothes. And he just hits the ground hard. And that would be the end of the round. So Teach, what are you going to do for the next round?
He's gonna try again.
All right.
Shoot.
Suck it.
Yeah, this time he's going for just a full swing. Possibly a little disturbed at seeing a guy kind of face disintegrate, just to the side of him there. But realizing definitely that it's serious, he's gonna go swinging in again, moving forward to kind of close the distance.
So has Socket ever really encountered somebody dying in this fashion, or is this sort of?
He may have seen the aftermath, but I don't think he would have seen it so up close and been in the middle of it.
All right, then give me a dark roll. So what this is going to be, everybody has cold and dark on your sheets. You all start with 1 pip. You roll a number of dice equal to the pips that you have in there for your dice pool. So in your case, you're going to roll a 1. And if you get a 2 or higher, success, and you're basically cool. Otherwise, if you get that 1, you're going to go up to 2 pips, and you start to take basically insanity type.
Okay, groovy. I'm going up a pip. I rolled a 1.
Nice. So you're going to have, whatever you do this round, you're going to have -2 dice for on your attack. As this has clearly disturbed you a bit. Jade, what are you going to do this round?
All right, I'm gonna, seeing that this guy is obviously a little bit stronger than me, try to break the grapple at this point, get into a better position.
Gotcha. And Resher, what do you plan? The guy on you had his face blown off by a Teach behind you, so you kind of within equal distance of between the guy holding Jade and the guy attacking Socket.
I'm gonna draw my heavy pistol since we're obviously getting lethal with this then. And I'm going to shoot at the guy attacking Socket.
All right.
Blood, so.
All right. You were up first, so you got a choice since you're mercenary. You can draw and shoot, which you have -2 dice, or you can make a reaction roll, which would just be 2 times your action number of dice. And if you get a success on there, you do not get a penalty to the shot. So it's generally, you want to try it anyway because it doesn't hurt to at least try.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. I got a pretty solid reaction. Where? Okay, I got my.
Yeah, it'll be whatever number your reaction is times 2 of that number dice.
Oh, you're kidding me. I got 2 1s and no successes.
All right. Can't really botch that in that case. But yeah, you're going to have a -2d to your full-on attack. It's actually -3 dice because he has 1 armor, so.
Okay, that's going to be, is that a attention plus shoot?
Shooting, correct, yep.
Okay, well, I got 8, so it's going to drop me down to 5. Do the ones matter if you get any successes?
No, they do not.
Okay, I got 1 success.
All right. So it's going to do the base damage of whatever your gun is.
Which is, where did that go? Damage is 5.
5. So you're going to completely take them out. Go ahead and describe it. This is the one on Socket, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I got the guy in front of me whose face gets blown clean off. Probably spotted a bit of that. I'm going to shoot a quick, annoyed glance at, oh gosh, I can't remember your name. Fade?
Teach. Oh,
Fade. One. For unloading a gun like that right in front of me. But then I'll just whip out my pistol really quick and just fire a shot clean right at the guy's head, and it'll take him right through.
Nice. So as you're getting ready with your weapon there, Socket, you just see that bullet hole go right through the guy's head as he stumbles back a little bit and hits the ground because, yeah, he's dead. Jade, you are up. You are grappled. So let's see. I just read that somewhere. Grapple. You're going to try to break the grapple. You must make a brawn or quickness, whichever you prefer, plus close combat contested roll versus the attacker to break free.
Ugh.
I can tell you what I got first. I got 2 successes.
So it's plus what? Sorry.
It is
Close combat and quickness or brawn.
Yep.
And that's it.
It's close combat with either quickness or brawn, whichever one you want to do. And you have -2 dice to the pool because you're grappled.
Oh, that's going to be good. Here we go. Hey, a 7. I only rolled 1 dice, too.
All right. Oh, well, he had 2 successes, so you can't beat him. So, yeah, he's just going to hold on a little bit tighter. Give me... I guess we're going to go with cool. Give me a cool roll. So it'll be whatever your cool is times 2 number of dice.
Cool. I'm not very cool. Times 2. Okay. No successes, no botches.
All right, you're going to take 2 points of bashing damage as you start to gasp for breath as he's basically trying to choke you out as he drags you away. And he is going to move about 10 feet away as he's dragging you. Socket, you're not blocked by that anymore, though. But as you get ready to swing your weapon, try to maybe bash this guy, you see his head explode at the top from Resher's bullet. You're a little bit disturbed by the guy's face blowing off. Now this guy's dying in front of you. So you can take an evasive action and take cover or whatever you want to do for free, or pass your action, or you can try to change it by making a reaction roll.
Yeah, I'm thinking, the startling of, watching this guy drop, but as the guy falls away as he's getting ready to swing, he sees, Jade being choked out and dragged away. So I think I'm going to attempt the reaction or the alter action to try and charge that way or to try and sprint after.
Gotcha.
As he sees that, he's like, oh, kind of that panic, like, oh my God, they're taking our doctor.
All right, so reaction roll. So whatever your reaction is, times 2 dice, or times 2 for the total pool of dice, -1 die for the change.
-1. Hey, I got 1-8.
All right, so that's a success. So you can change it to whatever you want to do.
Okay. Yeah, it's just I don't know if it's close enough that I'd be able to try and take a swing on him, but I at least want to charge up to the other guy.
Yeah, and being that he's grappled, you're actually going to have +2 dice. Definitely within range, so it'd be close combat plus brawn or quickness, whichever one you want to do, plus another 2 dice.
Holy cow. That just got really big. All right. Oh, boy. Give me something. Hey, I got 1 success out of all that. That was on 6 dice.
All right,
I'm sorry, 7 dice, but I got 1 success.
Well, what's the damage on the weapon?
The large wrench is listed at 3.
3? So, yeah, you're going to clock him.
Yep,
Let me see
damage.
if he drops her, though.
Hey, Scrum, get off the dock! He kind of calls out as he swings.
And he does have a success, though, so he holds on for the moment to you as you clack him across the skull. You can hear this heavy thud. The head is dented in a fair amount. You can see that it looks like he definitely has some sort of plate or something going on. It's kind of caved in and dented like a metal skull underneath, but he's still holding on for the moment. That puts Teach, you are up. You can hear this girl in the alleyway let out a scream, and you can see the glint of what looks to be a nano blade coming out of the guy's pocket in the back alley where it's at as he gets ready to do something to her.
I never actually said which one I was aiming at. Does that matter?
Yeah, your pick.
Because I think he would aim at the one in the alley.
Okay.
If the other one is crowded. I don't think he would aim at the one that had Jade because he knows he's not a good shot. So I think he'll take a pot shot at nano blade. man.
All right. He is not yet in melee with the woman, so you do not get a penalty. So it's just going to be your shooting plus attention.
Shooting plus attention, 3 die.
Minus 1d because of... No, he doesn't have armor. He doesn't have... So it's just, 3 dice. You got it.
Okay, well, I got a 1, but I also got a 7.
So the 1 doesn't matter in that case because you got a success. So base damage was it 4?
Yes, it
Right.
was.
So you can tell him about another lucky shot you got because you're going to take this guy out as well.
I imagine he's got the stance that he's seen in all the movies, you know, the legs spread and the 2 arms out holding the pistol.
Taking aim, pointing down the barrel of this gun. You hear this whiz go by your ear socket as a bullet flashes past, hitting this guy square in the chest. He throws back against the wall. You just see him slide down the wall. The only person left is the one holding Jade. All right. Teach, what are you going to do this round? You muted again?
Yes, my hang-up's just been really funny tonight. He's going to run into the alley.
Gotcha. Towards the woman?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Socket?
Ooh, I think Socket is actually, with all the shots flying past him, I think he's actually going to take cover.
All right.
I think he's actually diving for cover this round.
All right. Jade?
Tell me this, Morgan. If I try to shoot this bastard in close combat, how does that work? Just because I have no close combat. So I have really good stats in shooting, so I'm just trying to see if it's actually more worth it for me to try to shoot him.
You can point blank. It's in here somewhere. Point blank depends on target is awake or not. They are awake. They awake. You get +3 dice and +2 damage.
There's no negatives?
Nope, not at point blank.
I've been making some poor choices then. I'm gonna be pulling out my pistol and shooting in the same turn. I know that's some minuses, but I'll do it anyways.
In end, you're gonna have +1 die.
Okay.
Or no dice because you'd be there for the target in 2D base, so it's -3D. Or no, I'm looking at the wrong one again. My bad. -2 dice. Sorry. So yep, you can have +1 dice total on whatever your dice pool is.
Okay.
And Resher.
There's just one guy left, you said?
Yep, the one holding Jade. You can probably see her because she's reaching for her gun. Then the woman that's in the alleyway, which is where Teach is running for the moment. She looks pretty messed up, but alive.
I'll try and take a shot at the guy pulling her away.
Alrighty. So you were up first. You're firing into basically melee, so you're going to have -3 dice to your pool. He does not have armor, he doesn't have any armor, but he has 1 defense, so actually -4 dice to your pool total.
All right. 1 success.
And damage. What's the damage on that? 4 or 5?
For that?
You will take him out, then, so you don't even have to worry. As you sort of reach around to grab a hold of your gun, Jade, you can just feel this sort of explosion right beside you, just barely missing you as this man flies back against the wall, then sort of crumples to the ground.
She'll kind of fall to her knees, raspily trying to gasp for air as the guy has been choking her out for like 2 rounds now.
As you run into the alleyway there, Teach, he basically just out of the way of this bullet that Resher shoots off, and you jump forward to help this woman. You can see she's alive. She's a little beat up and otherwise, but she sort of looks at you for a moment. She doesn't seem like she recognizes you, though. You definitely can see it's Janice. It would be Dee's mother. She looks not really concussed, but definitely confused or not fully aware after just basically being beaten in the alleyway.
Yeah, Teach will kind of squat down beside her. Not too close in case she swings out at him. He's kind of holding back a bit. Hey. So, okay. You'll look around to check the coast is clear. Okay, they're all gone now.
So in this area, the guards, the cops, whatever you want to call it, really don't patrol too much. So odds are, even with the gunshots and stuff going off, you'd have quite a while before anybody shows up. And then she stares at you, sort of eyes wide for a moment, staring, taking these deep breaths. She looks over at the rest of you, taking each of you in by turn, and Jade as well on the ground as she's trying to catch her breath. And then she stops and looks at you, Teach, and looks a little bit closer. It's like, you're friends of my daughter. I recognize you.
Yeah, Soren. I think we met in the bar.
It's like, have you seen Dee? These men were looking for her. I haven't seen her. I'm afraid something's happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're kind of looking for her too, to be honest. I think she's in trouble.
She'll start to pull herself back up off the ground, straighten her. She still has her basic uniform from working for the night on. Straightens it up the best she can, and tries to present herself a little bit better. But she'll look over at each of you, and she says, "Thank you. I'm afraid of what those men might have done. They were looking for Dee as well, amongst other things. I'm sure you could understand that." So why are you even here? I mean, thank you for being here, but
yeah, well, my PCA kind of got hacked, and someone took her information from it.
So, yeah, well, we need to get out of here, and your friend looks a little roughed up. Why don't you guys just follow me back to my loft? We can get something to drink, rest, and patch your friend up. I can clean myself up and look a little more presentable. Do you have anywhere to be? Can I at least offer thanks and maybe some dinner, a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I must say, yeah, we accept that. I think I got jawbone stuck in my hair. You guys need to, before I go running up into the front, all freaking first wave and shit, you guys need to warn me before you start shooting past my head. Jawbone, dude, jawbone. And he's gonna kind of, or Socket's gonna kind of wander off, still a little in shock. Hence his rambling.
I need to real quick pop out for about 15 seconds. I'll be right back.
No worries.
So she said she didn't know where Dee was?
Nope.
Okay.
She says, well, if we can get back, I don't want to, discourage, mention all the information out here on the streets. I can at least tell you what I know back at the place.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea. I don't really want to be hanging about here. I do, however, just want to check a couple of things. So, hold on tight for 2 seconds. I'll get my friends. We'll escort you back to the loft, and then we'll have some coffee. And he's going to go over and start patting down the inside of the jackets of these guys.
Yep, I can hear you.
Yep.
They look, as you kind of go over these guys, they look like basic, just street thugs, really. They all have real basic pistols. I don't have which one on me at the moment, but just basic pistols. And they all have basic nano blades. Basically just street clothes, which is only armor of one. The only one that's a bit different is the guy who was roughing up Janice. You can see he has a folded up piece of paper in his pocket. You open that up, and it has, I believe, coordinates. My paper cup. Let me fix my windows here. Yes, so it has a listing of an apartment, the address, and it has Henry written next to it. Besides that, it has Janice, and then it has a address that leads to the Z81, which is the bar she works at. So it seems like they found her here. And then it has a little stamp down in the corner that has a circle, and it has a CD written in green in the center of it with a little star insignia. You guys have all probably seen it. It is called Creadine. It is a mining operation, mega corporation. Other than that, they got a couple packs of cigs, some lighters. Nothing else really fancy. Just basic comps, probably.
No credits.
Oh, let's see. I'll tell you what they got for credits.
I'll be honest, that's what I was looking for.
Hey, all that stuff sells for credits.
That's right. 85 credits.
Hey, boys, we're starting to make money already.
Oh, yeah. Nah, see, we just need like 20,000 more. But do the math. Yeah, like 20,000. Yeah, for the record, Socket is not good with numbers. Just putting that out there.
Jade kind of picks herself out. I imagine that like the alleyway is kind of like dank and wet. She picks herself up and brushes herself off, rubs down her throat, and then just goes up to Janice and would just basically say, like, let's get out of here. Warm coffee would be good. I have some questions for you.
Says yes. She'll hold her hand out to you and introduces herself as Janice. Says, I got some honey, a bit of lavender, maybe it'll help your throat. She says, I'll help you out.
She says, I'm fine, and doesn't shake her hand.
All right. She'll sort of just wipe her hand off or something like she meant to do or whatever. And yeah, she'll stay close to Resher, being he looks to be the most protective, capable type person. Anything else before you guys follow her?
I don't think so on my end. I would give her like a once over, but I don't think that she actually needs any first aid, but I would at least like check her over.
Yeah, she looks a little roughed up, but nothing of serious. Looks like she might have just got backhanded a few times. She doesn't have any open wounds or anything, not concussed or nothing like that.
Maybe just like bandage her arm or something where she got scraped.
You give her an old Blue's Clues band-aid for her cheek and call it good.
Yep, that's exactly it.
All right, so she'll lead you. You probably know where she lives, teaches well, being that you've been there a few times with the sort of out of this, the dock district, this unsavory area, and into, it's definitely not a well-to-do area, sort of a lower lifestyle, low-income area, but it's home nonetheless. She walks up to the small little ranch-style building, quite small. You can see these neon lights and bars all around that kind of glares through the windows. Opens up the door, and you're hit with that smell of just old, musty, not very welcoming, but your home. She'll flip on a few lights and let you all enter. She closes the door behind you. She quickly locks up several sliding locks, a couple of deadbolts, and makes sure the door is locked as well. As she moves around, closing off all the curtains. It's like, I didn't get a chance to clean up. My apologies. She says, I'll get a bit of tea going. Please make yourself at home. It's pretty spare for the most part. The walls are stained with smoke, water damage. There's a couple beanbag chairs over in the corner. You can see a small, little old TV. Has a picture tube style. Looks like from probably a couple 100 years old. Odds are it probably doesn't even work, but it's painted up with a bit of graffiti. Where the screen is itself has a painting of, looks like 3 guys and then a couple young daughters.
Ooh, this is all fancy. Woo. They goes in, or Sokka goes in and kind of plunks himself down and leans up against a wall, still absolutely picking at the little bit of, body detritus in his hair.
Jade's nose is like visibly scrunched, and as she like walks kind of like tiptoeing over, I imagine like a little bit of junk on the floor, basically like over exaggerating it, but not on purpose. And then she like finds a spot on the beanbag, but is like essentially trying to sit on it as little as possible, just minimal amount of like contact on it.
Off to the side, as you look around, Teach, you can see some older pictures of Dee on the wall. All of you probably notice as he looks at this. A younger girl in the pictures anyway, maybe mid-20s at best, bright, fiery red hair. A bit of a punk style outfit. She has leather jackets on, a choker chain. Looks kind of how you would expect a rebel youth to look. Janice comes in a few minutes later, setting down this large tray. Has a couple glasses, some coffee, some small sugar cubes. Says, I didn't have much, so she hands you this mug, Jade. Smells really strong of honey and lavender. She says it'll at least help your throat a little bit. It's the least I can offer the lot of you for this. The cup itself is fairly dingy and dirty, though.
Yeah, she'll sigh and say, "I'm fine," but take it.
With that, she'll sit down and sort of sits there in silence for a few minutes. Well, she'll look over at Teach. Are you looking for a D? Or maybe do the rest of you know?
Always here, cause that's Teach's homie. We're just coming along, cause I'll let him tell it. Thank you for the coffee.
Well, certainly. Well, have you heard from her, Teach? She left 2 weeks ago. I haven't seen her. No contact. I talked to some of the others, some of her friends, and haven't really. It's been coming up blank. That those guys in the alley though, they were looking for her. I don't know who they were.
No, I haven't seen her. I've been out on the job. Just got back into Freeport tonight. As I say, PCA got hacked, and it seems to be that it was her they were looking for.
I don't know who the guys were. I spoke to Dash earlier this afternoon. He hasn't heard from her either. You'll know who Dash is, a close friend of hers. Probably haven't really messed or talked with him too much, but a tall, skinny fellow. Also does a lot of hacking. Says he came in the bar looking for her this evening as well. He mentioned 2 others, Clax and Lecker. I don't know who they were. Says, I think she's got into something big. Says, I'm scared to find her in the gutter or not find her at all. She'll just sort of trail off. You can see a couple tears on her cheek as she quickly wipes them away, trying to hold her composure. It's like, can you at least look for her? I don't know. She says, I don't know who else to turn to. I mean, you guys look capable. You took out those guys pretty fast. I don't know if you really needed to kill them, but.
I mean, Teacher's going to look about everybody else to see what they have to say.
Well, hell, Teach. This here be all kind of scrum shit, but you know what? I help you. This one of your friends? We got you. At least I got you. I don't know about these guys. What you got, guys?
I don't have much. I can pay you what I have.
I'm sure that'd be fine.
How much do you have?
Says maybe 1,000 credits in my bank account. Says I got rent due, but I'm happy to put that off if you can at least help.
I'll shoot Resh unimpressed look, but see what he says.
I'm currently having an internal debate between the ethics of the situation versus the desire for credits. Oh man. Oh, we'll be generous this time. It's no need to pay that for us. That was just an act of goodwill on our parts, I suppose.
Teach maybe you can take. She left all of her stuff here. All of her equipment's still in her room. Her computers. Maybe you can take a look. Maybe I don't know what I'm looking at. When it just beeps at me when I hit the buttons.
You're lucky that's all it does. Yeah, I mean, if I can get past her password, I'll take a look, see what she's been into. She's obviously stumbled upon something.
Um,
I wouldn't worry about it though. She's bright. She'll went to ground.
Everybody give me a gut feeling roll, but do not multiply it by 2. So whatever pips you have, just roll that many dice. And then just let me know if anybody gets a success.
1 success.
Okay.
I got 2 successes.
All right. Anybody beat 2 successes?
I had 1 success. That's it.
None.
Well, all right. So, second, you might notice it. First, Janice comes across extremely, upset by this whole situation and stuff, but you're not able to really put your feeling on it or whatever, but you get that gut feeling that something's not quite right here. Just being, somebody who hasn't found their daughter, she's clearly upset, but it looks a little bit forced. Over to the side, she'll hurry over and open up this door for you, Teach. She says, please just take a look. I mean, maybe you can find something. She says, I don't know if you're even good enough to get into her stuff. She was pretty secretive, but it's something.
Yeah, while she takes Teach back into the room, Sakura will kind of lean over to that Jade and Resh and be like, "Hey, you know what? I don't think she's running on all the proper signals. You guys get like some kind of like there's a clunk in the engine. You know what I mean? Like it seems like it's running smooth, but that timing is just off and hitting at the wrong spots. You got that? Like it don't seem right."
I literally have no clue what you're talking about. She says to you.
Something's off.
But yeah, also when he says that, like, I don't have the best gut feeling, but I don't know. Can I notice something else with maybe like trying to see like know-how?
Just watch next time when she's talking about how sad she is about her daughter. You just listen for that skipping time. You'll hear it. There's like 6 waves pumping at just the wrong signal. You'll catch it.
Or I forget what rhetoric is. Is that like
Rhetoric is it's a type of social. Know-how, if you could somehow connect it to your package or class, whatever you want to call it, is basically how know-how works. So if you could somehow connect it to the medical or
so I would say that I'm used to at least seeing like trauma and people in that kind of shock and state, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not shock, but I guess shock. And maybe I'm not getting that from her. Like she's not showing the vibes of someone who just lost their daughter.
Okay, I'll go over that. So tie that with gut feeling again. So whatever dice pool that gives you.
All right. My God, that was 6 dice, but no successes.
See, you're just not completely getting it at all. Maybe this
poor people. Jeez.
Poor people. You just don't quite understand them.
Yeah.
Back in the room, Teach, as you are looking at this, what do you do? She'll stand kind of, beside you with this blank, confused sort of look. Says, she left everything here. Her computer hasn't been touched, and he has all this monitors and everything spread out. Looks like your own office would probably look like across this desk. Her bed's completely unmade, clothes scatter the floors. You can see all these different punk band posters crossing the walls.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a look at the sort of system setup she's got and pull out my diagnostics thingy-majiggy, I think is the technical term for it. And I'd rather access the stuff remotely rather than actually go through our system, because that's like sleeping in another hacker's bed, as it were, and then waking up wearing their shoes. It's just not on. But he'll try and get in remotely. But as he does so, just in case. In fact, no, he's not, because he doesn't really know anything. So yeah, that's what he'll do.
Okay. I'm going to say it's a standard security. So you're going to have a contested dice roll. You're going to be doing brains plus computer. And I'll tell you how many successes I have. I got 2 successes.
I got 1 success.
All right.
Nope, that's a botch. That's a botch. There's 2 ones.
Looking through this thing, it seems a quick. You have that moment where you think you might have it figured out. Things start to pop up a little bit, and then the whole thing starts to melt. And as you watch this screen, all these screens, it's sort of like that Matrix. You see all these numbers start running down through the screen, and then the pictures, the images, the data on these things. It's like an oil painting that got wet. It just runs down the screens. You see a bit of smoke rising up from behind one of the monitors. This bright flash on this computer next to you as the whole thing just goes up in smoke. Looks like probably was set up with a self-destruct sort of mechanism or something that she had set up on this thing in case anybody tried to get into it.
Yeah, that's some failsafe she's got there.
So you didn't get anything. Says, what if you take the parts with you, or can't you hook it up to something else? Can't you just have it something?
I might be able to take a couple of the hard drives with me if they're not fried. Worth a shot.
Give me a computers plus attention.
What's attention? Oops. 1 success.
Yeah, probably the whole thing was fried. You might be able, if you can hook this, the hard drives up to a whole nother setup or something, you might be able to get into it. But as far as the system and everything else, it's pretty much fried.
He'll do that though. He'll start ripping everything out. I figure all his good gear's back on the ship anyway, so.
So let's see. Trying to get in this thing takes roughly about 5 minutes. So as all of you are waiting for him back in this room, all you can smell is that burning electronic smell that sort of fills the room, the bright flash, and Teach in there probably swearing or something. What are the rest of you doing while you're waiting for him?
I'd go to Resh and just basically say something about along the lines of like, she mentioned a friend named Dash and 2 other individuals looking for her. I'm not really good talking with these kind of people. Maybe you can get through to her, figure out who those guys are, where we can find them.
Yeah, I can have a go at talking to her, see what we can figure out. Yeah, I guess I'll just approach her and you mentioned these people. Like, is there, a chance you could point us in the right direction? Anything we can do to, further this along would be useful.
Says, Dash was at the bar tonight, down at the Z81. Says, I'm not sure who this Lecker is or Clack. She says, I've heard Dee speak of them before, but I have never met them. But Dash, he's a younger man, sort of tall, skinny. His real name is Peter. Very polite young man. But odds are you could probably still find him down there. He tends to hang out till late in the evenings before headed home. Says it's back in the unsavory parts down there, and you probably might want to wait until maybe tomorrow or something. But if you want to talk to him, I'm sure you could. Maybe he knows who these Clacks and Lecker are. Or she said she mentioned another name too. Jeez. I don't remember. It started with an S. Sirius or Salomon or something with an S.
I'd like to ask her how long Dee has been missing. And, as she's answering, I'll kind of give a bit of stock to what Socket was saying about some of them being off, and see if I can just, pay attention to her emotions, discern something.
She's been for almost 2 weeks now. So she left one morning for work, headed to the office, and she didn't come home that evening. I had dinner, set just a nice roasted turkey dinner. I went all out, and we had an excellent check. And I had a great dinner planned for us. It's the two of us haven't been seeing eye to eye for quite a while. We're a bit at odds, but she's my daughter, and I was trying to do the best I could. And I had this dinner planned, and she didn't come home. The next morning, next day passed, and again another day and night. Soon it was a week. I contacted the police. They didn't. They said they have too many missing people, and it's not a priority here in the docks. And I'm pretty much on my own. She says I've been asking people and asking around. I think I might have maybe drawn the attention of those fellows that had me in the alley. And they were, in turn, were asking what I knew about her, and I was trying to find. She says I don't know what else to do. I'm lost.
Has she ever left like this before?
I mean, she'll go for a few nights here and there, but she always checks in. At least gives me a call or a message on the comms or something. I haven't heard nothing. It's as if she's just up and left. She hasn't answered her own comms. I tried getting onto her computer, but I couldn't get into it. She said Peter has no clue where she went. He hasn't heard from her in 2 weeks as well, and it's not like her. I mean, she has a bit of an attitude, of course, as children do with their parents, but she's a good girl. She at least checks in.
Can I make any type of like an insight type check? I guess it would just be like another gut feeling thing, or have I already?
Yep, you can do another gut feeling. I don't know if you have something you want to tie it to for an ability.
Nah, let me see what we have. I don't think anything that I'm good at is really going to be relevant. I'll just see if I can do a gut feeling check, see how that goes. And I get one success.
Yeah, you get the same sense that Sokka had too. She's a little bit flighty when you talk to her. Her eyes seem to scan. She's constantly looking over at Teach and what he's doing, and seems to be sidetracked or her mind isn't completely on the topic at hand. She definitely answers. You get the sense that she's still concerned and she's telling the truth, but she doesn't seem to be as concerned as she should be, or she seems a little bit more interested in what he's doing than she is in answering your questions or worrying about what's going on.
I'm just going to cut the pretenses and say, like, I feel like there's something you're not telling us.
With that, her eyes will kind of quickly snap towards you and be, well, what do you mean? She says, I've been forthright. I've brought you into my home, and you accuse me that I'm not telling you something. I need to find my daughter just as much as anybody else. And how dare you say that I'm not withholding information? She says, I don't know what else to tell you.
See that? Timing in the engine. Just skipping a spot.
Yeah, I'm going to, I don't know, take just like a small step towards her, try and look just a little bit more intimidating. Be like, look, if you want us to find your daughter, I need you to come clean about whatever you can. What's more important, whatever you're trying to hide, your daughter's life.
Give me interrogation with, it could be brawn if you want to use your physical aspects, or it could be clout if you wanted to use your personality.
We'll go with brawn. I'm making this pretty physical. One success.
She'll quickly, put her hands up. She says, I'm telling the truth. I'm just concerned. And she'll look over at Teach. She says, I was really hoping that he would find something in the computer or give us a leeway. She says, the only thing I can think of is to talk to Peter and see if he knows something. Or maybe her office. she was really secretive about her work. I know where I can give you the address, and maybe that would be your best bet. But I didn't want to get her work caught into this. I was afraid that, if she brought in her private life and her work, it would ruin her future as well. I really don't want her working in this career no more. I want her to actually make a future of herself and become somebody, not just hacking into people's things and unsavory attitudes. Maybe her office would have something. I just didn't want to ruin her chances for success. I'm afraid that she's into things she shouldn't be.
What types of things would that be?
Just sort of look over at you, teach. Work like he does. Hacking, stealing information. How well has that worked for you, teach?
That's like magic work, though. See, he makes the front of the ship talk to the back of the ship so that everything meshes nice and smooth. That ain't bad work. So, if I'm catching this right, we're gonna spin on down and talk to some Peter, and then we're gonna talk to some work.
Where does your daughter work?
Yep.
She says, she'll get out a little notepad and write down the address for you. She's down at the Program Unit Corporation. It's a small firm. They're hired by all sorts of large corporations, mostly do like writing software and analyzing, fixing bugs in their software, creating features. And she writes programs for these large corporations to run their systems and keep their information. This is her boss, a very handsome man. His name's Tyler. She says, I think maybe they might have had a thing. Very, very nice gentleman, but says again, I haven't seen him. I'm honestly, I haven't really looked into it. I'm afraid of again ruining her chances for success or getting involved in something I shouldn't be. Says, it might be worth talking to.
She nods, looks to them all, still hasn't touched a sip of her tea yet, and just says, well, I think we have enough to go on here. You lot ready?
Says you'll keep me informed, right? Says, Teach has my number. You can call me about anything. He says if I hear anything, I'll let you know immediately.
I'm already halfway out the door, like not responding to her.
Ooh, yeah, I think we got this.
Says I'm sure she would pay you handsomely if something's wrong and she needs saving or something. I'll give you everything I have, though.
Who was
Plus,
Peter?
apparently we got.
Sorry.
Oh, that's what was that guy? Lesh. I think it was.
Who's that? Oh, Peter.
Yeah.
Peter is Dash, I believe. Yeah, Dash.
Peter Dash? Okay.
Dash. Yeah.
Got it.
Dash.
Dash is his hacker name.
All
And then
right.
she mentioned a Clax and a Lecker, but she don't know who they are.
So yeah, once we're out in the streets again, you'll actually see that some bruises are starting to form around her neck where she was being assaulted by this guy. She pulls her hair in front just to like take any attention from it, and just looks to Resh and the group and just says, "The way I see it, we have a couple potentials. We can go to the bar, talk to Dash, and find out about those two individuals looking for her, and then tomorrow." We go and talk to this Tyler, her boss. Seems like maybe a bit too much of a convenience that she designs software for mega corporations, and Teach, you found an insignia for one of them, didn't you? Creodine?
I think your mic's goofy, checks, because we can't hear anything if you're saying something.
Teach, look up from the computer for a second.
Yep.
You might be able to get that place to throw some cash too, if she's so important about with all them program things.
Damn. Hopefully a little more skilled at it.
He need to unplug.
Yeah. Hopefully a little more skilled than our current hacker who seems to be having technical difficulties.
Well, he fixes that. Why don't we take like a quick 3-4 minute break?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I need a drink.
All right.
I need a drink.
Okay. Gonna take like a quick minute break there. Checks while you fix your mic and go into the bathroom.
All right, quick intermission. Cool. Be right back.
All right, I'm back. So how you finding it so far, Morgan?
So far, smooth.
Yeah, seems to be going pretty well. I'm digging it, minus the fact that my D8s aren't cooperating with me.
I just have to learn all the skills. Some of them I'm still not. I can't remember which ones are which.
Yeah, there's a lot for sure. And they all seem like different to what you would be used to for sure.
Yeah.
Or at least a couple of them.
Should be good though.
Yeah, so far so good. I'm digging it. The initiative felt pretty cool.
But smoother than I thought it was gonna.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that we also got to know what the bad guys were doing, though.
It depends. I can, if I want to. It's up to me either way. But the problem is they basically make it that way for the GM because if I have like 6 guys and I have to come up with it, trying to remember as I go back down through is really difficult.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
So if it's like one major bad guy or something like that, or a horde, because there's horde rules too, then it's a little bit easier and I can, but otherwise I just won't be able to keep track.
Yeah, no, that's fine anyways.
I thought the way it went was really smooth, and I think it's, I don't want to say advantageous, I guess the opposite of that. It makes it more realistic not knowing what the bad guys are doing.
Yep, that's the other thing. I was thinking,
plan to do things.
Because it's kind of like your characters don't really know what they're going to do, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wish that I knew that shooting point blank wasn't penalized right off the bat.
It is if they're moving and stuff like that, but if you're just right beside them point blank, you basically just put the gun to them and pulling the trigger. So
Well, it's beautiful.
I think you get used to like the D&D and stuff, so you can't actually like draw a bow kind of right next to them, so you get penalized. But in this, really all you're doing is pulling the trigger fast. So
Yeah. I dig it. That makes me not regret putting nothing into close quarters combat now.
Yeah, it's definitely fun so far. Apologies for the speech. Like, I literally don't really know what I'm saying. I'm just literally throwing words together, going like, I think that makes sense. It kind of means something.
The character's amazing so far. I love it.
Yeah, I'm literally just making shit up. Actually,
Doing a
took a
great
couple
job.
notes so I could remember a couple things.
just
Now
let
the system's pretty neat.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it'd take a couple minutes to get used to like the way some of the modifiers work, but I mean, at the base of it, it's pretty
slick,
straightforward with the dice. Yeah,
I think it's just the only crunchy part is just trying to remember the different maneuvers and penalties or bonuses that are attached to them.
Yeah, I have the cheat sheet open over here on the tablet, kind of referencing.
Outside of that, it's fairly.
Do you get I guess it's not HP, but do you get like health points back after a certain time, or is there no healing in this?
Yes, healing. Let's see. Bashing points are healed at a rate of 1 per hour. So I'd say you probably have 1 back by now because it's been about an hour. Fatal points are healed at a rate of 1 for every 24 hours. Cool. You can also make first aid checks to help, and your character has an ability with a first aid check to help remove points. So, yeah.
Yeah, do I need to expend first aid kits to do that, or?
No, for your base ability, you don't. What is the medic? You get something.
I didn't write it down for some reason. I was just checking now. I was like, shouldn't my character have abilities?
Yeah. Medical, so yours is expert at medical training. You heal +2 hit points when using first aid or regen on somebody. You get field experience, so 3 times per story, which is session, whatever we'll call it. You can heal 3 hit points within 5 minutes on a patient. And medical insight, so you gain a +1 to all rolls dealing with know-how and first aid. So actually, when you did your know-how, you could have added 1 more to it.
Nice. And what was it? +3 healing.
You can heal 3 hit points if done within 5 minutes, once per session to somebody.
3 HP.
And then you can make just a basic first aid or regen. I don't think regen's a different ability thing. But you can heal 2 hit points with somebody on using first aid on them. Only once. I mean, you can't keep using it on them, but
yeah. And I can use what can I get a bonus dice with? You said know-how?
Know-how and first aid.
Know-how. Should have wrote that down.
You back with us, Checks? Oh, your mic's all robot again.
Domo arigato, Scottish, roboto, domo.
He's put his hacker filter on.
All right.
He's just mumbling to himself as he looks at the screen. You can only pick out a couple syllables.
I'm liking everybody's character so far. This is definitely pretty slick.
Time is 1:10, so yeah, probably about an hour or so left. I'm going to basically aim to keep it right around 3 sessions each time. And I know we started a little late this time since we covered everything, but from here on out, it should be probably about 3 hours per session.
Sweet.
I could dig it. Or I guess that spins up my coils.
Is RoboChex fixed or? RoboChex.
See, the hard thing is you can't tell between his accent and his mic what the hell he's saying. So.
I'm assuming that he is dinking around with it.
That's right.
Making a hack and roll right now. That's all that's happening. Right?
I mean, I can still hear everything that's going on.
Oh, you're perfect.
You're perfect.
You're back.
Move.
And you going on about my accent? Just wait, I'm going to pull you up after this game. About your pronunciations of certain words.
Hey, I just talk like New Yorkers talk. I properly pronunciate them. All right.
I do not. I have bad accents. My bad.
Are you taking the hard drives with you?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I assume he has his big setup back on the ship. So, yeah, he'd probably take them with him.
All right.
Well, no problem about it, he would.
All right. So just add them on your sheet then. So there's 2 hard drives, but otherwise the computers are pretty much fried. There's not much there you can get to. There's also, you're going to have a small, what's it called? It has a special name that you can get off of her desk that you would have noticed. A Cyberjack. Sort of like a small USB type thingy, but it connects with the internet or the whatever you want to call it that they have there at the web. But it is completely fried. You didn't fry it. It was already on her desk, completely fried. But you might be able to pull information from it, or at least a little bit if you can get a chance to mess with it.
Nice.
All right. And from there you can see Janice, she encourages you to take whatever you might need to help out. If I hear anything, I'll be sure to contact you. If you need a place to stay or come rest, or even if you're trying running from somebody or something, please, by all means, you're more than welcome here. Just let me know if I can do anything.
Yeah, we'll keep your channel up.
Yeah, I think it's best in the meantime if you keep your head down as well, though.
I do the best I can. I can't just sit here. Yeah, I will stay quiet the best I can. Since I seem to have attracted the attention of somebody. Just let me know if you're on your way or something, so that I know. I'm going to keep the doors locked, though. With that, she'll, let you guys slurp the last of your coffees and chew on the last of your sugar cubes. And she'll open up the door to let you go on and do what you need to do. Closing it behind you, you can hear her stringing all the bolt locks and flipping the keys and doing whatever she needs to do. All the windows and everything's closed up tight. You can see her shadow pass by one of these windows and the lights go out in the place. Outside is pretty quiet. There's no... it's basically always sort of like a twilighty thing. It's no major natural light in this place to begin with. So you basically always have just the neon lights and the overhead lights that come from the streets. So you're actually walking on, but when they're overhead, it's sort of like lights glowing down onto the city. So it's sort of in the twilight in between area. You can see it's by your comms and everything. It's about 1 a.m., but it's not really a city that people follow the day and night cycles. So there's still people about it all times.
After we're like a couple blocks away from Janice's place, I'll kind of spin around and look to Resh, and I'll say to Resh, I'm going to be straightforward with you, with all of you right now. I don't really give a damn about this D girl. I give us 2 days. If the trail's dry by then, we go on to something bigger. We need some cash. That's what I signed up for. The only reason I'm helping you guys out right now is because she apparently has a big score. If we can't turn up anything from this, then we're chasing a dry trail. She probably got caught up in something bigger than her and is already taken away halfway across the galaxy by now. If it's a mega corporation she pissed off, then she's as good as gone.
Yeah, but see, she done work in them big old factory doing that big old corporate stuff and on the computers. Like, that's some big old factory first stuff. There's money right there. and you can talk to your people up in that place, and we can find that money.
It's the only reason I'm coming along.
Yeah. That's all that is. So let's get to it. We could cut that bar right now. We'll worry about the other stuff in that computer place later. But right now, I heard there's a bar. We got to find a Peter. How you guys think on that?
Yeah, I think going to her associates is going to be a better route to go to start off. I think they're more likely to be cooperative than whatever corporation she's associated with. Or at least they're probably more likely to care about her well-being, want to find her safe and sound.
Yeah. See, Resh knows what's up. We go and talk to her people right now. Them's like our people. Well, and then he looks over at Jade. Well, maybe not like your people. You're too
Definitely
clean. You're
not
too
my
clean.
people.
Yeah, so I guess Sakura will look over and be like, so where is Z81 at? Pub?
So, Teach, you would obviously know where it's at before anybody else. It's pretty much a dive bar. They don't provide any kind of food, really shitty liquor and beer. Sort of a mix between a cyber cafe and a pirate whorehouse, pretty much. Basically, just go there looking to hook up or to get drunk or to hack things. Excuse me.
So what you're saying is it's the best damn place in Freeport.
It's the best damn place in Freeport. As you head down the streets here, moving between, people are out and about. Don't really come across anybody, no issues. Nobody bothers you too much. You come to the Z81. You can see it's a square, squat building, completely brick on the outside, covered in all sorts of graffiti, neon lights. A large doorway, kind of arch-shaped, opens up into this place. You can see there's probably a good 30, 35 people inside filling out the chairs. Bright greenish blue-colored lights overhead gives everything sort of this eerie bluish-colored glow to it. Kids of all sorts, everything from younger teens up to the mid, maybe 20s, 30s. Not too many people older than that seem to be here. More the younger generation. Save for the bartender. You see this old crone woman sitting behind the bar. Looks like she's probably 100 years old, if not more. Scraggly white hair kind of hangs down. She's pretty heavy, overweight, and she sits on this little round stool, just flipping cash in her hands, credits, putting some in the till, putting other ones in the small pouch that she wears in front of her. Every now and then she'll reach down, grabbing a drink out of this cooler thing behind her and slide it down the bar, or one of the kids will come up and pick it up. I'm sure there's quite a few people as you pass through here, Teach, that you might recognize or kind of give you that nod and ask how you're doing or something, but nobody, stands out that would be at least associated with D. Until you see Dash, you would know who he is, but not who the others are that he's talked about. A tall, skinny kid, kind of lanky, has really long black hair, but he has it pulled back into a ponytail in the back. Couple neon earrings, and he sits in front of this computer typing away at it. Doesn't even notice as you're starting to walk towards him.
I'll look over at Teach and kind of nudge him to take the lead. He's the one who actually knows what he's talking about with this kind of stuff more than anyone else.
But did you say there was other people with him?
There's nobody with him, but there's just a bunch of other people in the room. But nobody's sitting at his table with him.
I'll do that thing where you walk up behind someone and you tap them on the left shoulder, but you're actually standing on the right-hand side. So by the time he looks around, I'm already pulled up a seat, sitting down.
You quickly turn around. Imagine he probably just sees Socket standing there, wrench hanging off of his pocket, sort of eyes you up and down a moment with a quizzical look until he hears the chair scrape across the floor and Sees Teach sit down beside him. Yeah. Damn. Ain't seen you in, what, damn near 4 months, Teach. How's it been, man?
Yeah, it's been. What are you working on?
Yeah. Turn this thing around. You can see all this code that's running through. It says, been working on a bit of a virus. Nothing real difficult, but just something that'll piss off a few of the people, maybe run a few Trojans, and yeah, a little entertainment, I guess you could say. What about you? I heard you had a job with some. You sort of look over at the rest of you crew boys out there flying the space lanes. Think you're like a king shit or something around here now, huh?
I mean, I was before. Why wouldn't I be now?
I could have took you down any time.
See that line of code there? And I'll point out a line of code. Yeah, that's mine.
Last I knew, Dee wrote that. You sure you just didn't get that from her?
No, but it's funny you should mention the. Have you seen her?
Figured that's what this was all about. You're not the type to just come in unannounced. Come and hang out. I mean, you don't even have a drink in hand. Nah, man. It's been, 2 weeks now? Not a peep. Her mom's bugging out at the place. She's been working most of the nights here and, just not in the right mind state. I wish I could help her, man, but I haven't heard nothing. Not a sign on any of the web. She hasn't come across the place. Her mom hasn't heard from her. Says whatever she was in, she was in deep, man.
You haven't looked for yourself? Did some digging? A little bit further down?
Well, a little bit, but I'm not the type that's really going to be able to deal with some of these thugs that are out there. Whatever she got herself into is big. Says Clax. I don't think you've met him. Younger lad that she took under her wing. Says last time he came in, he was roughed up pretty bad when he went digging around, busted up face and broken leg. Said a bunch of guys in the back alley basically jumped him. Says you kind of stay quiet when you threaten to like that. She says whatever you got in, she got into. Says, I don't know. Can't find anything on the net.
And she never mentioned anything.
The last she was working on was something with creodine. She mentioned that they were processing something or doing something with bodies. She called them necrophytes. So she said she was onto something big, but she really didn't dissolve any of the information. Didn't give us any insight to what it was she was working on. Says, I tried talking to Clax, but he was mum about it. He didn't say a damn thing.
So where's he hiding out at the moment?
God, me, man, I don't know. I haven't seen him. He was here a few hours ago and left. I don't know if he'd be back. I don't really know much about the kid. Kind of short, dark-skinned, bald. Has a bit of a wire transmitter on the side. He's pretty quiet for the most part. Kind of keeps himself, under the radar, so to speak.
Yeah.
Sakura kind of like lean over a little bit. I didn't understand a single word y'all just said. I'm gonna go have a beer. And then he just wanders off over to the bar.
Vodka, double. I assume you're buying.
Yeah, I'll take first round. I need me something that tastes like it's got motor oil in it. Can you square that, just for color?
This old woman will look up at you. Sonny, we ain't got nothing here like that. Says, we got beer, water and beer. The water isn't very good, so I'd suggest the beer.
Yeah, we'll take a couple of the first one and the last one, and that should put us up just right and solid.
She'll reach down underneath, setting up this tall pint glass, set the second one up there, and reaches down, pulls out this, looks like a larger can, just solid black, no label or anything on it, caps it open and starts pouring this in. See this thick, almost soupy liquid pour into this mug. Then a second one. Beer ain't very good either, son, but, well, drink up. It'll be 4 credits.
God, toss it over. Pooh, that's the low-res kind of scrum remind me of back home. And he wanders off to take a seat. Passes the other beers to the guys.
Give me a, I'm going to say attention. Yeah, probably no ability. So give me a attention roll. So
Okay,
times 2.
Doubled. Okay.
Yep.
Ooh, that is 1 success. Rolling a 1 doesn't cancel success, right?
No, only when it's no successes. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You
I
notice
got
that she was, counting this money, and she had some different stuff laid out on the counter that she was going through. There's a credit card off to the side that says D. Petruzzi.
Ooh. In that case, I think noticing that, I'm gonna accidentally spill some of my beer, and then try and grab a napkin or his shirt to try and sop it up and try and swipe that card
Without her noticing?
Yeah, kind of make it look like trying to just clean up and sop the spilled beer, but trying to drag that off the edge with me.
Let's go with a stealth and quickness, but give yourself +2 dice.
Okay. So stealth, quickness.
She'll quickly slide her chair back and be like, "Oh, god damn, son.
True shit. Man, I am sorry." Oh, that's nice. I got 2 successes.
Nice.
Double 8s. Man, I'm trying to get my land legs been up space the whole time, you know what I mean? Like, whoosh. But this is a little, I'm sorry. It kind of flips another coin at her.
Let me get my rag. She'll turn around and start grabbing a couple rags to start mapping this up. You're able to get the card, but a couple dollars in there too, so give yourself 55 credits.
Oh, damn. I am way up higher than what I started with.
She'll turn around and just start cleaning this up. She'll actually fill up another pint glass for you and slide it over. And says, "Why don't you, clumsy ass, go sit down, enjoy your beer, and do whatever you do."
Yeah, I'm sorry. Got all aftermarket. Phew, boy. A little bit of scrum action. It's okay. It's all right. Yep. And then he wanders back over. "Hey, y'all ain't gonna freaking catch this signal right now. Looky what I got. That's your girl, right?" And he's gonna slide the card over to Teach, and probably spill a little more beer.
Cool. That would be, you would know her last name is Petruzzi, Teach, so it was definitely her card. See, Dash will look over and sort of looks back at you and be like, "Where did you find this, man?"
Just kind of came straight out the muffler, know what I mean? Just like some exhaust, chilling around.
No, I don't know what you mean. Where'd you find the card? Was it...
I just said it's right up there. Just out in the open. Just like some exhaust blowing clean. Everybody could see it. I just cleaned it up. Yeah.
He slid it over to you, Teach, but you notice Dash reaches over to grab a hold of it unless you take it or do stop him or whatever.
Yeah, I'll slap my hand on top of it to stop him taking it.
Says, "Hey, man, I can just run it through the computer. We can at least see, if it's been used lately or something." He says, "I'm just going to slide it."
Yeah, but why would I send you to do a man's job? Move over.
He says, "You ain't using my stuff. Don't you have your own?"
I mean, you could refuse me, or have you met my friends?
He'll give Socket a confused glance, give Jade a rather interested glance, give Resher a bit of a oh shit sort of glance, and slide over out of the way. Says, "Hey man, whatever floats your boat, I guess. Drives that ship. So go ahead to see what you can come up with."
Cracks the knuckles and he'll sit down and like Mozart on the piano.
Give me a computers and brains.
New success.
Nice. You can see the card has not been used in about 2 weeks. The last time it was used, there was a large transfer of almost 10,000 credits from this her account to the Program Unit Corporation, which is what her mom said she worked for. It's actually going to be 9,842 credits. There's also one the same day to of roughly 1,800 credits to a man named where the hell did it go? Henry something.
Henry something. That's an unusual name.
All right, where the hell was it?
Like potentially the same Henry we were originally set to go pick up.
Is that Henry something of the New Hampshire somethings?
Henry Borg. There we go. His name is Henry Borg. And no, it is not the same. The guy you were sent to pick up was named Jensen. And yeah, that's 1,800 credits, both on the same day, both within just minutes of each other. And then after that, the card has not had a single bit of action on it.
So, like, what's that mean? What's the skinny on that? You want to patch that signal? I just see a bunch of numbers.
It looks like she was paid for a job.
It's coming out of her account to them.
Oh, it came out of her account. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Yep, out of her account to the Henry Borg for the one, and the other one was the programming her workplace there.
That's even more unusual.
Pressure is you letting those two deal with this and looking around, and probably Jade as well. You notice a couple kids get up and they leave. A couple more get up and they leave. Pretty soon this place is clearing out kind of quickly.
Yeah, I think Jade would actually, after like a short period of time, go off and sit on a table by herself. And anyone looking over at her would see that she's definitely fidgeting with something. Sorry. She's probably not paying too much attention.
In that case, as you sit there fidgeting with something, see a older girl come in, maybe in her later 20s or so. Looks around for a little bit and sits down 2 or 3 tables off to the side. Really nobody in between you. Opens up her computer, is working at it for a few minutes. Over to the side, you can see his teacher's looking up this card and running through, kind of explaining the money that's coming out and stuff. But this woman keeps looking over at you. And eventually, she'll just sort of stop. She turns towards you, Jade. Says, "You're that girl that was on the paper. Isn't that you? The whole operation, they said you went a little batshit crazy. Killed a bunch of people. Is that true?"
Completely ignoring her right now. At first, at least.
She'd be like, "Hey, you deaf? Maybe the worms got a little deep in your brain." You're the girl that was on the paper. I
She
recognize a face.
She'd pull up and you'd see that she currently had like a holo tag, like basically like some kind of like dog tag or something in her hand that she was looking at. She slides it into her pocket and she looks at the girl, just put like both elbows on the table and says, "If I am this crazy bitch that killed a bunch of people, then do you think it's smart to bother me?"
Well, I don't really know about that, but I don't believe a word they said. It's all just a bunch of conspiracy when it comes to the government anyway. You don't look that crazy to me.
You would be surprised.
Nah, I think you're just bluffing. But that's neither here nor there, right? She says, so what brings you here? You don't be looking like you're on a computer. Just hanging out looking at all the gentlemen.
Out for a drink, I say as monotone as possible with no drink on my table.
There's far more better places than this to get a drink. It's the only people that come here looking to hook up or hack a few computers.
Well, I came here to be left alone, but that's not quite going so well for me.
Don't let me bother you. She'll kind of look back. So, what are you doing here then? The curiosity just gets the best of me, you know. It's, out and about like you are, being on the front page of the paper, and all these people think you killed other people, and some crazy stuff. You know, it's just really got a ten of me now. All of that's just a conspiracy, right?
You know, there's an old Earth saying about curiosity and what it does to a cat. Have you heard that one?
No, why don't you tell it to me?
Goes something along the lines of curiosity killed the cat. I think you should mind your own business.
She's like, so that's like a what do they call that there? A Chinese proverb. Yeah. Says, well, I don't quite get that anyway, but hey, I was just trying to make friendly conversation, you know. It's been a rough couple of weeks. My best friend's went missing, and basically just been sitting here hoping to get a lead or hear something. Her mom's a mess, and I don't want to bother you no more, darling. So yeah, well, I'll just leave you alone. She'll turn and start working again on her computer, opening it back up.
Give like a look like, finally, you caught the drift. And just go back to myself.
Over to the side, you'll see Dash beside you, Teach, as he's looking this over. And he said, what do you get out of this, man? Seems a bit weird that she'd be paying her boss or her business employee, there we go, her employer, all this money. Shouldn't they be paying her?
That is generally the way it works, in my experience.
And who's this Henry fellow? He says, here, let me have a look in there, see if I can figure out who this Henry guy is.
And, I just got that little signal popping around up here in these channels. What's her card doing right here? That's all I'm wondering. Like, how her card end up here? She's throwing money, this and that, to all kinds of corporates. But her card is here, in this little pocket hole in the bar, back up in all this scrum.
Wish I knew, man. So maybe she dropped it. I don't know.
Ooh, boy, yeah. What you think on that, Resh?
So I'm not sure what to make of it either.
Right, see, we got nothing. A lot of good your fancy Peter's doing right now.
Peter will sort of snuggle up next to you, teaches he types in some stuff. You can see he starts bringing up the database of the city and the recent consensus and stuff, and flips through. Brings up this name, Henry Borg. Looks like an older gentleman, age is 53, white male, who lives on the western side, which is sort of the middle classy type area of the city. He works for a small company called Phillips and Son, which is a basic law firm. Has his address and everything there. I could go check that out if you want. Says, I live over that way. And my dad has a few connections. Maybe I can dig up a bit of something. Maybe you guys can hit something else and we'll rendezvous back here.
And you're worried you'll end up like Clax with your face rearranged? I mean, you're not the best looking fella anyway.
Nobody really bothers everybody over on the west side. Says I should be all right. So if this guy is, something a bit more, then guess I can. What about your friend there? Maybe he wants to come along with me. You kind of point to you, Resh. He looks like he could be a protector. You got this guy with the big wrench, and I'll get the guy with the big gun.
I suppose it's worth a shot.
And I have to put the picture back up. Socket kind of smiles a big toothy grin with that kind of way too much, rocket fuel fumes of his eyes, and smiles. What? Psh, you think I ain't got like the right kind of factory first to run around up there in that place with grass grown with real grass? I think you're just being prejudiced. Don't play. I don't want to go there nowhere.
Exactly. That's all you teach.
And he slugs down a sloppy, chunky beer some more.
I say, different class.
See, you got the guy with the wrench, I get the guy with the gun. I don't know where you want the resting bitch face there to go, but she could probably hang out with one of us. I'd be happy to take her along, man, if you don't want her with you.
We'll hold on to her for now, I think. She said she might be parting ways with us in a couple of days, though, so we'll keep you posted how that goes.
He will quickly copy down this guy's address, put it into a little notepad that he has, and shoves that into his pocket. Says, they really don't get around doing too much over on the west side until early morning, man, so maybe 6 o'clock or so we can head on over. I mean, we can maybe go grab a bite to eat or start heading that way if you want, but probably shouldn't bother this guy at least until the morning's around and people start moving. You'll notice this guy constantly looking over in your way. Jade probably motions towards you a few times. You get the gist that he's talking to you. And over next to you, you can see that girl look over and she's like, hey, I think that guy likes you. I mean, Dash, he's quite the fella. I see him giving you sexy eyes.
I'd look up to her and say, literally, the universe itself couldn't explain how far I am out of his league.
Says, nah, I think you're just bluffing. Says, Dash, he's like a 5 to my 2. You know what I'm saying? He's a good lad. I think the two of you would get along just fine.
I almost burst out laughing at the thought of it, but then just catch myself and you think what you want to think.
He's quite a catch around here, Everybody's always trying to catch the eye of Dash, but if you really think you're that much better than him, then, well, so be it, I guess.
I'll say even a dead fish carcass is a catch to a alley cat.
Man, that government must have really pissed you off. You should cheer up a little bit, Make yourself a little bit more happy, darling, but hey, Who am I to say? I'm going to go back to my work. She'll go back to working on whatever she's working with. Only takes 2 or 3 seconds before she's like, "Hey, what was your name again?"
Don't worry about it.
What kind of parents would name their kid "Don't worry about it"? I'm just going to call you Don't for short. Is that okay?
Not really.
Well, I got to call you something. I mean,
Listen,
we're almost
lady.
like sisters
Well,
now.
what do you want from me now? Like, you're really getting on my nerves.
It's just like, I'm just trying to keep my head busy and just trying to strike up a light conversation. And you look like you were lonely there. And I see you keep eyeballing your fellow friends over there. And Dash just keeps looking at you, and you got the whole sexual tension going on between one another. I just wanted to pat your back, let you know that everything's gonna be all right.
She's like rubbing her temple in frustration, and just stands up and goes over to Resh and says, "Are we done here?"
Yeah, I think it might be about time for us to be heading out. You sure you don't need more of that kind of company, though?
Not unless you need another murder rumor on my hands.
Dash will quickly stand up and hold his hand out to you, Jade. Says, Peter Gibbs, how you doing, my lady?
I would. I'm trying to think what I would do.
I didn't mean to leave you speechless, ma'am, but I just saw you across the way. Couldn't help but see those beautiful blue eyes. But they like to say that I'm a bit of a player and stuff. Don't listen to Mary. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I think she's had the hots.
I'm gonna bend over and put my fingers on his lips, and it's almost like semi-seductive. Then I look him in the eyes and just say, "Shut the fuck up."
Man. Sort of lean over to Teach, but plays hard to get, don't she?
Oh yeah.
But love a good challenge, man. Remember that time?
Don't give up.
Remember that time I hooked up with Sarah? It took me 2 weeks of getting in on that. But I got it. I want to make a bet that I can get this one. What do you say?
Oh, yeah. Let's make a bet. She's a little ball of sunshine. This one.
Mm-hmm. Don't you worry, it'll be no time at all. 200 credits on the table within the week.
Let's call it 5.
5. You can see the two of them.
Don't you think you can, Casanova?
You notice the two of them talking there, Jade, and Dash will look at you. All right, I'll put 500 credits on the table. I'm up for a challenge. Gonna lose again, old man.
I would like to point out to Jade that we're kind of in dire straits for money, and that she has an ethical obligation to the group to not put out so that we can win this bet.
She looks at you in disgust and is like, "You think that money would matter regardless?"
Nice. Give yourself a save point for that, Resh. Mark off a little save point. Tick box.
That's fantastic.
So 500 credit bet.
I would say to Teach that it's the easiest 500 credits he made, and then just walk out before the nano blade comes out.
All right, man. Well, like I said, Teach, you and Wrench Boy here, maybe the two of you can go check out one. I'll take this Gun Boy and little Hot Lips out there, and maybe we can go check out Henry. Let you know.
Oh, Hot Lips, you should definitely call her that. She loves nicknames.
Yeah, most of the bitches do, man. Most of the bitches do.
I can attest to that. You just make sure you keep channeling that same signal right there. Woo, boy. That's going to be a good time. You like that. Woo.
Buff his knuckles, little. It's like the easiest 500 credits I made this week.
Fresh, clean plugs, man.
Says, all right, gunboy, you ready?
Chuckles. Yeah, I guess we're gonna be heading out now. If you do everything you need to.
Says, the name's Dash, by the way. What should I call you, man? Probably don't want to be called gunboy, do you? Sure. He says, all right, what's the girl's name? She didn't introduce herself properly. Says,
Oh, we can just call her Doc.
Doc, all right. Doc Hot Lips it is. He says, all right, guys, I'll be in touch shortly. Grab his computer, close everything up, and start heading out to meet with Doc Hot Lips outside, along with Resh. He'll start leading you guys.
Sorry, just before he disappears, I'd like to just tell him that I'll set up like a secure server, as it were, online where he can reach us.
Okay. Like a secure
and if he hears of Clax's whereabouts, or I'll ask him about Lecker, and if he finds out any information on Dragon.
When you mention Dragon, he'll look at you. He's like, I haven't heard that name in quite a while. What does that do with any of this? So last I heard, well, Dragon got thrown in the clink. He's off in one of the dung ships on the outswords of the river. Dung ships are basically spaceship hulls, completely ruined and whatnot, but they throw people who go to jail or whatever. There's no jails or anything within the city itself, but they basically just throw all the criminals onto a wide drifting ship and let them go wherever they will and whatever happens. But the ship's been completely gutted, so there's nothing they can do on it. They don't have like access to anything besides beds and each other and whatever they can find for food, which is usually each other, until everybody dies or something happens.
Well, that's mighty interesting.
So, yeah, well, you've probably been out there flying your pretty little ship around, thinking you're all high shit for quite a while now, man. But since things here in the city ain't got much better, yeah, Dragon got caught hacking into a Creodine. The systems, he said, apparently hit something big, and next thing you know, he was out of here. Came up on the news, went out to one of the dung ships, and we ain't heard nothing since. That was, what, damn near a month ago, maybe? So, where did you come across that name to all of a sudden bring that up out of the blue?
It's just, I'm not going to tell him exactly where I found it. I'm not going to say about the incident. Just wanted to try and track him down. Old business.
Yeah. Well, I sure as hell hope you don't owe you money, because you probably ain't going to be seeing that anytime soon. From what I know, all of his account was clean. That dropped into the Lord Drax coffers, and off he went. But hopefully he didn't owe you anything. I'll get that server set up and be on there and let you guys know in a couple hours what we come across. He'll step out the door and come up beside you, Jade. So they told
Do
me
it, I dare you.
like, well, they told me to call you Doc because you didn't properly introduce yourself. My name's Dash. They said you like little pet names, but I didn't want to improvise myself on you and step out on the wrong sort of foot. So what should I call you, my lady?
I'd sigh and just say, I prefer you call me nothing. But if we're going to go by name basis, it's Jade. You call me anything else, then you'll see how true those rumors are you might have heard of me.
Says, Jade, I haven't heard any kind of rumors on you. What kind of rumors should I have been hearing? Since are they good ones?
Oh, yes. Very good.
Easiest 500 credits I made. Just wait, teach. Says, all right, lady, gentlemen, let's be on our way. We'll start heading down the road towards the Western District. You can see the lights overhead. People are starting to move, on the ceiling or whatever you want to call it above you. But it starts to brighten up a little bit, like it's getting closer to morning, so they try to falsely make it lighten up a little bit lighter for daytime. And he'll start leading in that direction. The two of you, Teach and Socket, left sitting here for the moment. What do you guys do?
Looks like just two of us, like a couple of sockets in a tray. Whoo, that's gonna be good. So now, what we doing? What do they call that? Instructigate me there, Teach. What are we doing?
Well, we've got the night. Well, they basically get sorted. So maybe if we go back to the ship, we can find out more. See if we can salvage these hard drives.
Yeah.
And
I might be able to
maybe-
tinker something around to get some help right there. Maybe running through some of the ship system. We might be able to power this thing up clean.
That's the hope. But you know what would really help? If we grab a bottle of vodka on the way.
Gonna have to make stop someplace else. This place ain't got none of that kind of. It's all fried. That beer is chunky. So yes. And he stands and kind of smiles a toothy grin at the old lady and flips her another coin. Thanks, Nana.
She'll smile and snatch that, dropping into her till. She's like, anytime, son, you can come on back and have a bit of that beer. And, well, you look a little out of sorts here, but I'm happy to serve you up something delicious. Gives you a little bit of a wink.
Yeah, we're going to have to come back here, Teach. He says with his toothy grin and the face that, well, he was an orphan, so apparently a mother couldn't love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and he trail along with Teach.
So, Teach and to the ship. And dash. All right. So, Teach Socket, you guys will be headed to the ship, and then Jade, Rush, and Dash, you guys are headed to go see what you can find about Henry. Perfect. And it's about 2 a.m., so how about we call it there? Seems like a good stopping point before anything major else happens. Mm-hmm. So, any last words before we end it, or any last things?
That's a lot of fun, man. Thank you for running it.
Yeah, you are welcome. Let me.
Yeah, I think the walking off is. It's like that good comic book ending as the party kind of splits heading off to their spots. I think that's. I had nothing else to add. That's great.
All right. Perfect. Stop this.